Pass around some samples, and they can be passed around the table to table of different skin grafts. There should be some birth tissue in one, maybe the hardest one to see, and then like some fined up bone as well. And I'll bring up Sarah. Sarah, son passed in March of 2023, and it was an organ donator, and I'll let her share her story.
Hi everybody. Hello. So I'm a donor mom. My name is Sarah Mason, and my son is a donor hero. I'd like to first thank each of you for giving me the opportunity to tell you Hayden's story. He was the best son ever. He was my only son, my first child, and the big brother to my daughters, who are now 23 and 21. He would light up any room with his bright smile and make you laugh at his corny but hilarious jokes. Hayden loved his family, and boy, would he protect his little sisters. The three of them had a bond that was one of a kind. I always said I was so blessed to have children that rarely fought. They were truly the best of friends. Hayden was loved by so many and is so deeply missed. Growing up, he always gave the most thoughtful and meaningful gifts. He loved seeing someone's reaction and smile the gift brought. He always loved to see people happy. At the age of 23, on March 15th, 2023, Hayden arrived at St. Thomas, Rutherford. He spent the next 5 days in the ICU until he took his final breath. During those days, our family experienced every emotion possible, most emotions we had never felt before. The day Hayden passed away, my husband and I met with two ladies from Tennessee Donor Services. When our meeting began, they showed us the paper that Hayden had actually chosen. So when he was 21, he registered to be a organ and tissue donor. At that moment, Michael, my husband, and I knew that the choice was not just ours, but Hayden's, which made it much easier. On March 19th, Hayden saved 4 lives. His lungs went to a man that was 28 at Vanderbilt Hospital. His heart went to a man that was 30 in North Carolina. 1 kidney went to a 40-year-old lady in New Mexico, and then another kidney and liver went to a lady in Virginia who was 66. We have connected with the kidney and liver recipient from Virginia. We have not physically met them, but we have had conversation with them. We've connected through social media on Facebook and things like that. And on Hayden's 2-year anniversary date of his death, the recipient's daughter, who's about my age, wrote this on Facebook. Today is 2 years since my mom's transplant surgery. We are so thankful to have been blessed with these 2 years and all the years to come that we will have with her. We wouldn't have been blessed with this gift had it not been for my mom's donor, Hayden. His selflessness and love for others gifted 4 people a new chance of life. Hayden is one of the most important people in my life, even though I never had a chance to meet him. I say this a lot, but I'm very thankful for Hayden's parents. They raised an amazing, caring, loving young man. Without their parenting direction of God, he may not have been the incredible man he was. So thank you very much. I can't wait to spend another 20 years with Mom, making memories and seeing her loving life. I share this with you so you can see the impact that Hayden's donor or recipient has. And the impact of Hayden's gifts have had on others. This fall, we received a letter from the man who received both of Hayden's lungs. He actually lives here in Murfreesboro. So he was the recipient from Vanderbilt. And about a month ago, my family, we had a chance to meet him. We laughed, cried, shared pictures, great memories of Hayden. It was, the amount of emotions were unbelievable. He reminded us a lot of Hayden. He's 30 now. He was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when he was about 1 year old. And basically all of his life, he has never had a normal childhood. He spent most of his life in hospitals, doctors' offices, and at the time of the transplant surgery, he was suffering very, very much. He could barely walk from the grocery store to his car. He was on oxygen 24 hours a day. He was 28 years old at this moment. Then he received a call and received Hayden's lungs. He did spend a couple of months in the hospital, recovered very, very well, is doing fantastic, which brought my family some joy, and that was something that we hadn't felt in a long time since losing Hayden. In fact, he loves, like right now, he's gotten into playing soccer. He loves to do bike. He loves to ride his bike, play bike polo. Very much into like the outdoor stuff, things that he's never been able to really enjoy before. And on Thanksgiving, he actually ran in the Borough Bash. Wow. And ran like 4 miles. So that was amazing and has definitely brought us lots of joy, and we look forward to continuing our relationship with him and his wife. Organ donation is something that I never thought about in my lifetime. You think about it, but it's more of like something, let's just register when you are at the DMV. Until it actually affects your life personally, it's something that a lot of us don't ever really think about. So if you've ever questioned signing up as being a donor hero, think about Hayden's story. You truly will save lots of lives. And to know that my son has given a gift of life is truly remarkable. So I'd also like to share, I've got a couple of little pictures. So this is me and Hayden. So that's Hayden right there. He was 23. And then this was the picture that we just took with his recipient. So this is his recipient. He received Hayden's lungs, and his wife, and then my husband and our 2 children. So it's truly a special story, and I really do appreciate you all's time and allowing me to speak. So thank you.
Now, Sarah's son Hayden was one of the 1% that actually meets the criteria to be an organ donator because it's so much that goes into it, so much testing. You have to be on a ventilator, which keeps your organs alive. So if you're just out and someone dies on the scene of a car accident, his chances are they aren't going to be able to unless they can get them to the hospital and can keep them up. So that's a big thing. Why people, I don't know, do y'all ever hear any myth or misconceptions that you feel like why people aren't or haven't decided to become an organ donor that y'all want to share? So across America, there are, this is a rough number, but it's well more than 100,000 people on the waiting list waiting for an organ donation. 3,000 here in Tennessee. Now with the 3,000 waiting every single day, between 20 and 17% are 17 people are dying every day because they waited so long, or are just too sick and their body isn't making it anymore. Now, does anyone know the kidney that's in the biggest demand? the organ that's in the biggest demand, not the kidney. I gave it away. And does anyone know why? Because of dialysis, and you're able to keep the kidney functioning. Why people are at dialysis at the clinic. So, and a lot of people are on the wait list so long and can keep it up because when you're at the clinic, they might not often learn about, that they can be on the wait list, that they can get a transplant. So people may go to the dialysis clinic for years and years and years and years, and never know. So that often keeps that percentage up. The percentage of kids, 15, you can register when you're 15. It starts there. That's the important thing. And so we often spend time in a lot of schools and different places, community centers, educating the kids as well, because it starts with them. Without them, they make up more of like 50 to 60% now, more than 45. Some of these numbers are just rough and change over the time. But very important that you educate your kids, and if that's something that you would like to do. Now, when it comes to organ donation, it's different windows for different transplant times. Now there's different machines and different boxes and stuff to keep the organs cold to transplant. So you may have people who may be on the wait list who can't travel too far because they may be waiting for a heart, and the heart doesn't last that long, So if you decide to go out to Dubai, and you need to be in Florida, you may miss your opportunity because you can't just quickly get back to get your transplant. So for heart, for heart and lungs, you have 4 to 6 hours. Liver's a little longer. Liver is the only organ that can regenerate, so you can just get a piece of someone's liver, and it'll, over time, in about 3 or 4 months, it'll start to form back into a regular sized liver. So that's a big thing. You see a small thing, a small window of intestines. Not too many people often need intestines because kidneys is the biggest one. You see pancreas here and there, and of course kidney is the biggest of what I mentioned. Now with tissue is super important. We handle, at our office in Metro Center in Nashville, we handle about 95% of the state's tissue recovery happens here in Nashville. It may happen at some other places depending on the urge. Has anyone ever had an ACL or know someone with an ACL tear, MCL? Those things are often come from someone who's donated who donated a tissue. So that's a big thing. It can come from your other knee depending on what it is, but oftentimes it's probably come from another donor. Now, understanding the process, there's 2 ways you can become a donor. Now, donation after brain death or donation after circulatory death. Now, brain death is all the functions in your brain has ended. They've done tests. Things are irreversible, so you have to, so that kind of leaves that decision. If they are organ donor, the medical team at the hospital informs the family about what's going on and that they did have a heart on their license. And if there weren't, that's when TDS, our clinical teams at the hospitals, and we have them all spread out across the state, steps in and speaks to those families to see if they will be interested in becoming one. And then death after circulatory, a donation after circulatory death is more of if you were in an incident, but it wasn't a clear cut of, if you can make it or not. And, you speak to the family and see if they want to make that decision to take their loved one off of life support. And that route starts there. Now, I talked about a little bit of myths and misconceptions. Some people may be afraid to donate because they may think it may cost them in the long run, but it doesn't cost them anything. Some people may think they can't have an open casket, but that's not the case. Most religions allow it, and often people think that you can't because of your religion. Again, I mentioned it. It starts at 15, where you can make that decision to become an organ and tissue donator. Now, parents, will have to sign off on it if something happened before the 18th birthday. So the parents still have that decision to make in that age gap, in that age range. And if you want to register, you can scan the QR code. You can go to your DMV. You can do it through your iPhone. Donate Life Tennessee. If you're not in the state, you can go to bethegift.org, and that allows you to register from every single state that has an OPO. like, I don't think my loved one will make that decision, so it's good to have those conversations. So any questions?
As I look around the room, I'm one of the younger guys here. Can older people donate? Is there stuff of any value?
Yes, yes. There is no age. That's one of the myths too. A lot of people think age a lot of people think age is a thing. No, you can still decide to become a donor at any age. It doesn't matter, because testing happens and they're able to see what still works, what's still good, you know, and you can still have tissue as well. That's good. That can be utilized as well.
I got a follow-up question on it. You say you want to donate your body to science. Vanderbilt's been very good to me. They've done a lot of research. Will they take care of my mortal remains when they're done, sort of deciding practicing on me?
Oh, like when you're broke, like if, like, I can speak more for like what we do, like, so with tissue recovery, they're, you know, maybe breaking hips and legs and whatnot, but that stuff is replaced with tubes and pipes to give you more of your still, you know, frame when the funeral happens, so you look like a regular person, you know. No one can really tell. They still take the time to sew you up just as well as you just had a surgery. You know, just because you passed on, they just don't leave you open and whatnot.
I actually know the answer to your question because my husband wanted to. And, unfortunately, my husband died on New Year's Day. So it didn't really work out all that well. Because he did make those arrangements, but they will take your body, and when they're done with it, you cremate it, and you're given back to you, and they pay all costs to do that, and your ashes are given back to you.
That's good. That's good.
Is Tennessee Donor Services, is that a state organization, or are you a private company, or are there other companies like you in the state?
Yeah, so DCIDS runs 3 OPOs in Sierra, New Mexico, and Tennessee Donor Services. We're our own OPO. We do things with the other ones, but different states have different regulations and different rules. So we're just for Tennessee Donor Services, just for Tennessee. None of the Memphis area. Anyone from Memphis and up west of Memphis in the corner. That's south and southern. It's another OPO who handles that area.
I think, Roy, if I'm not mistaken, who's your local competitor?
No local competitor. We're the only OPO for really like 90% of Tennessee, besides that Memphis and on Northwest area.
So for Memphis, someone in Nashville can do their event.
Yes, it's all geographic location, like where you may be, how high is the need, and things of that nature. So even though it's a part of someone else's, you can another OPO, you can still get theirs.
So how could I find out who got my brother's remains?
Check aisle 5 at Walmart. I don't think is that information public? I mean,
It's stuff did it happen in Memphis, or was it in?
My brother was in Memphis, but the person that I really think, because my brother died on April 7th, 2020. The next day, I'm not gonna keep mentioning his name, but he received a heart, and I mess with him all the time and say, I think you got my brother's heart.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I like him a lot. They remind me of each other.
The aftercare team at that OPO should be able to let you know who may have it, or they can contact that person and see if they want to reach out. So if it is
But
a
I talked to
person,
him. I said, you know, you got your heart from? And he says, I don't know, but I had to go there very quickly.
yeah, reach out to the OPO in the Memphis area, and they can help you with that.
So, for that organ to be filed.
Yes, sir.
So, and then we talk about the driver's license with the heart on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a representation that, say, for instance, there's an accident and the medics, you know, once they arrive at the scene, and if Does someone like me to check the driver, the identification to see if this individual is?
Right, of course, that doesn't happen because the main goal is to save life, so people who join the healthcare field in any shape, form, or fashion, you know, your number one goal is to save a life, so you're not scrambling to find where their ID may be at to see if they have a heart or not, to decide if you're gonna take care of them at the hospital.
No. I'm saying if it's a fatality at the scene, you know.
If it's a fatality, they can't be. If you die at the scene, you can't be an organ donor. You have to die at the hospital on a ventilator. Yeah, it has to be that way. It can't. If something happens on the side of the road, you may be there for 20 minutes or so. Once your body gone, the organs start to die.
Okay.
Yes.
My brother-in-law, my sister's husband in Lebanon, donated his body to Vanderbilt. He had 6'4", 120 pounds, and he had Parkinson's disease. He thought his body might be interesting to somebody, but when he died, Vanderbilt punked out and refused to take his body, which meant my sister had to really scratch around and find a way to take care of his burial when she thought Vanderbilt had agreed to take care of it.
Yeah.
So I might warn all of you that just because Vanderbilt says they're going to take your body doesn't mean they're going to.
What do you think the future of 3D printing of organs is going to be?
I have no idea about that one. That's something we've had in conversation. Sarah had something add on to what you were asking.
As far as like finding out and stuff, so the process that we kind of had to go through was, I had to write a letter. So when Hayden did donate his organs, I did receive a letter from Tennessee Donor Services. They give you very generic information at first. I knew if it was a male or female, the age, and I knew the location. So I knew that like Hayden's heart went to a 30-year-old male in Duke, North Carolina. So I knew all that specifics. I wrote a letter to the donor services as Hayden's mom, and then they sent that letter to the recipients. And then I included, like, you can include your social media or your contact information, and then it's at that moment if they want to try to reach out. So we have connected with 2. We would love to still connect with the other 2 recipients. And maybe with time that will happen, but that's kind of the process. You just have to, and then once that other person writes back or contacts you, it's open, like you don't have to go through the donor services anymore.
Is there any health condition that could prevent you from being an organ donor?
If you'd have asked me that question maybe 10 years ago, maybe more, but now there's so many different ways you can, like say if someone had HIV or something, you could donate to someone else who has HIV too as well. So it just varies on what that condition may be.
For some reason I thought, the urban myths that if you had any form of cancer, that you were ruled out.
Yeah, but cancer may not impact all of your organs, so that's why they do so much testing. Testing can take months depending on, who you are and, your condition.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know when we filled out put together our trust in the medical power of attorney, there was a section where we could either donate our body to medical research, which is my understanding that it would go to maybe a medical school or something like that, or you could donate your organs. Because if you donate to medical research, I don't believe your organs are donated. Is that correct?
I'm not sure about that one. We don't handle it's only organ and tissue related, and when it comes to us, it's strictly tissue. When it comes up to our Metro Center office, but my wife just graduated from Harriet Medical School, and they have, people are donated, and from my understanding, that people are still have everything in them, and they do what they do with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's different.
Yeah, it's different.
One more question, Steve? You have another question?
He sort of half answered it, but we have a PA program here at MTSU. Harry has an excellent medical school. Do they have to get their stuff centrally? Or could I, for example, donate my body to MTSU's PA program or to Harry's medical school?
I think with your body donation, you could have the choice to donate to where you want to donate to. You know, that's more of your right. Like, and even if you wanted someone, if you knew of someone who needed a kidney and you wanted to donate yours to them, like you can go about it that way too. Like, hey, I know like my end of life is coming, or your family knows, they can make that decision to donate. I know we have ambassadors who, if their children's kidney or loved one's kidney or lung, liver didn't go to a certain person, then they weren't interested in donating them.
Thank you.
Sarah and Dallas, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
So I did ask them to keep the kitchen open, so if y'all want to get something to eat, you're welcome to do that. And anybody else that needs a refill or wants something else, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay, so we are going to start with family.